Welcome to this week's episode of From Mic to Market, the podcast where we explore strategies, tools, and trends helping businesses amplify their message and grow their brand through podcasting. I'm your host, Joanna Lewis, and today we're talking about something that event organizers, conference planners, associations, and exhibitors should be paying a lot more attention to: conference podcasting. Because here's the reality. You spend months planning an event. You secure great speakers, you organize sessions, you market the conference, you fill the room with attendees. Then the event ends. The lights go out, the booths come down, everyone flies home. And most of the content you worked so hard to create disappears. Today, we're going to talk about why that's happening, why it's costing organizations opportunities, and how podcasting can transform a 3-day event into a year-round marketing asset. So let's start off with the hidden problem with conferences. Let's start with a simple question. What's the most valuable part of a conference? Most people immediately think about keynote speakers. Others might say networking opportunities. Some might point to educational sessions or panel discussions. The truth is, it's all of those things. The challenge is that most of that value exists only in the moment. Think about the last conference you attended. How many great conversations happened in the hallway between sessions? How many speakers shared insights that never made it into the official event recap? How many attendees left inspired but wish they could share what they learned with their colleagues back in the office? Those moments are valuable, but they're also temporary. Conference content has a shelf life problem. Once attendees leave, most of the knowledge, conversation, and expertise stays trapped in people's memories. And that's a huge missed opportunity. So this is where podcasting changes everything. Instead of allowing your event content to disappear after the conference, you can transform it into on-demand content that continues creating value long after the event ends. Imagine recording interviews with keynote speakers, capturing expert conversations from exhibitors, hosting short discussions with attendees about trends in the industry, recording panel discussions and turning them into podcast episodes. Suddenly, your event isn't limited to the people sitting in the room. Your content can reach audiences across the country and around the world. Attendees can revisit sessions they missed. Prospective attendees can hear the quality of your speakers before deciding to register next year. Sponsors gain additional exposure beyond their booth traffic. And your organization stays visible long after the conference concludes. Instead of a 3-day event, you've created a content engine. So why do podcast audiences matter? Now let's actually talk about the audience engagement. Podcast listeners are different. They're not casually scrolling through social media while waiting in line for coffee. They're intentionally listening. Whether they're driving, exercising, traveling, or working, they've chosen to spend time with the content. And that attention matters. When someone spends 20 or 30 minutes listening to a speaker interview from your conference, they're building a deeper connection with your event, your organization, and more importantly, your brand. That's incredibly powerful. For exhibitors, podcast interviews become valuable marketing assets. They can share those episodes with prospects, customers, and partners. For associations, conference podcasts create year-round member value. Members continue receiving education and insights even after the conference has ended. For corporate event planners, podcast content creates measurable ROI that extends beyond attendance numbers. Instead of saying, "We hosted a successful event," you can point to content, downloads, podcast listeners, engagement metrics, and ongoing audience growth. So what makes this different from regular podcasting? Now, if you're thinking, can't someone just bring a microphone and record everything? Well, not exactly. Conference podcasting is a completely different environment than recording a weekly podcast in a quiet studio. Conference centers are noisy. Schedules change constantly. Speakers are moving between sessions. Interviews often need to happen quickly between commitments. You need a team that understands live event production. You need equipment that can handle unpredictable environments. And perhaps most importantly, you need a workflow that allows content to be edited, polished, and distributed quickly, because timing matters a lot. The excitement surrounding an event has a limited window. People are most engaged while they're still talking about the conference, while they're posting photos, while they're sharing takeaways, while they're connecting with people they met. If your content doesn't get released until weeks later, you've lost much of that momentum. That's why rapid turnaround isn't just a bonus feature, it's essential. The faster conference content gets into listeners' ears, the more impact it creates. So here's the big takeaway. Every conference is already creating incredible content. The question is whether you're preserving it and leveraging it or letting it disappear. The conversations, the expertise, the insights, the networking, the inspiration, all of it has value far beyond the walls of the event. Podcasting gives that content a second life. Actually, scratch that. It gives it a much longer life. It turns a temporary experience into an ongoing resource. And in today's content-driven world, that's an opportunity most conferences simply can't afford to ignore. So, if you're planning a conference, trade show, association event, or corporate gathering and want to extend the impact of your event long after the doors close, we'd love to help. Visit simplypodcasting.io to learn more about our conference podcasting packages or schedule a free discovery call. Your speakers are sharing ideas worth preserving. Let's make sure more people get a chance to hear them. Thanks for listening to From Mic to Market. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with an event planner, conference organizer, or business leader who wants to get more from their events. Until next time, keep finding new ways to turn your message into momentum.